How's it going, folks? CR here, and I'm going to be answering a question I found on Quora today. Question is, why can't we comment on any of these issues that are brought up? For example, the right to sue gun makers. Well, here's the thing, man. You're on Quora right now commenting on this issue, so apparently you are able to comment. I would bet you have internet access, given the fact that you're on Quora. I would bet that it is entirely possible for you to go to other places on the internet to discuss this. Furthermore, if you're in the U.S., it is quite very well possible that you live within at least driving distance of a gun store. Well, unless you're in a place like California or New York or probably even Hawaii. Yeah, you can discuss the issues with them there. You can discuss the issues really anywhere. I don't think there's any law on the books that would prohibit you from discussing the issues. Furthermore, I don't think the gun industry is sending people to your home telling you they will kill you and your family if you talk on the issues. Moreover, every time there's a mass shooting that comes up, it seems like the national news media cannot stop talking about how we need another gun law, and cheerleading for whatever gun control proposal the first person puts out. I don't think there's a single legislative session of Congress where gun control isn't brought up at least one time. So you're going to actually have to be a little bit more specific on what you're talking about and how you are prohibited from talking on the issues. But we'll discuss the PLCAA. Yeah, I know I've discussed that a few videos here on this channel anyway. But see, that doesn't actually stop you from being able to sue a gun manufacturer if it's a legitimate case. The PLCAA came about in 2005 after several entities were just filing frivolous lawsuits on firearms manufacturers that they had no intentions of actually winning because they knew they were frivolous cases themselves. Their goal with it was just to have these firearm manufacturers in court so much that it became cost prohibitive for them to sell to private individuals. And the intent behind this was a backdoor attempt to make lawful firearm ownership almost impossible for the average law-abiding citizen. And this is not a conspiracy theory. This is not NRA propaganda or anything like this. The people who were engaging in this straight up said that that's what they were doing. One example, the former mayor of Bridgeport, Connecticut, who resigned in 2003 after they were convicted of a federal felony corruption charge, Joseph Ganim, to give you an idea on his character, even said that the city's action was aimed at creating law with litigation, and that's the route that they were going because, as they put it, the industry has always been effective at big money, lobbied the legislator, and kept laws from being passed. Conveniently, he leaves out the part where there is a significant number of people that seem to like the freedom to own and carry a firearm, but, he can't have anything negative come out about his agenda. It all has to be in a positive light, and everyone else who opposes him has to be evil. But he basically lays it out and says straightforward, that's their goal. Their goal is to abuse the civil court system because they know they can't get their laws passed to prevent people from owning firearms done the legislative way. And if you need any further arguments as to why these lawsuits are frivolous, well, let me ask you this. A burglar gets a hold of one of these things, should we sue Stanley when he uses it to break into a home? If not, why not? Oh, I'm going to guess that your argument is going to boil down to one of two arguments. The first being is that, well, there is no way for you to reasonably expect Stanley to make sure that all of their crowbars do not fall in the hands of criminals. Well, guess what? You know, the same is true for firearm manufacturers. That's the reality. You cannot reasonably expect that none of their products will ever end up in the hands of criminals. And especially with firearms manufacturers, because they have a lot more restrictions on them than companies like Stanley do when it comes to making crowbars like that. So yeah, it's completely unreasonable to hold them to account for that. They have no control over that. And the second argument is, well, Stanley didn't design these things so burglars can go around and use them to break into homes. Well, gun manufacturers didn't design their guns for criminals to go around and use them to commit crimes either. Colt did not design this AR-15 with the intent that a mass shooter could use, was going to use this. They were not designing it so a mass shooter could kill more people. They were designing this for law enforcement officers. Now, this has a lot of applications for private use as well. Home defense, target shooting, collecting, so on and so forth. And these are all legitimate purposes. So, with that being said, that second argument is also unreasonable. So, I mean, if this is your problem, if this is what you consider not being able to comment on the issue because people say you're being unreasonable, well, no, you're still allowed to comment. It's just people are pointing out that you're being unreasonable with this. Alright, so those of y'all watching, y'all take her easy out there. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.